Hi, Olive Branch family. What a bittersweet weekend we had just had. It was sweet because we were able to celebrate the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. Wasn't it great to gather around the cemetery on Sunday morning? We had about 40 cars there as Pastor Brady and I worshiped the Lord with you. It was great to see at least your vehicle, if not your face, and to be able to say over and over again, Jesus is alive. Also, we celebrated Saturday by having a drive-through Easter egg hunt, and we had 70 children come through the church parking lot in their parents' vehicles, counting Easter eggs and looking at all the different things we had set up for them to find. Each kid got a bag of candy, and parents praised us for having something for their children on Easter. We also had our service at 11 o'clock on Easter Sunday. I hope you got to watch and participate in the Lord's Supper with your family. It was a great weekend to celebrate the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. But also, it was bitter. We got the news Friday evening that our dear friend and brother, Phil Arrington, had passed away. His death was a result of the coronavirus that has shut down our lives and changed them forever. And Phil was more to us than a statistic. I know you probably, like I do, watch the news each night, and it's a grim reminder that every day people are dying from this virus. Until Phil's passing, they were just numbers, and they were faceless numbers, lives, of course, but we didn't know those people. This hit home, and that's why this weekend was bittersweet. The lesson today from the North American Mission Board comes from James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3, and I think these verses are very appropriate considering this bittersweet weekend we've just had. The verses say this: "Consider it a great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance." I used to have a lot of trouble with these verses. James is telling us to be joyful and to even consider it joy when we face trials, troubles. Pain and suffering always comes with trials and troubles, and how can we be joyful in circumstances like that? How can we be joyful this weekend when our dear brother has passed? How can we be joyful when there is tragedy in our families? How can we be joyful when we're not able to meet together as brother and sister to worship the Lord? I think the key is understanding the value that comes from the trials, the tests that God sends. I was better able to understand this verse when I thought of this illustration. If you were standing next to me and I started to drop bricks on your head, and all you were wearing there was a hard hat, I don't want to hurt you, those bricks would hit your hard hat and you would feel the pain and you would be very angry. You'd be very upset with me that I was dropping bricks on your head. That pain and that hurt would not have any meaning and just bring anger and frustration. But let's think for a moment if instead of bricks I was dropping gold bricks on your head. It would be the same pain, wouldn't it? It would hurt just as much for a gold brick to hit your hard hat as a regular brick would. But your attitude to it would be completely different. There wouldn't be anger and frustration. You would be joyful. You see, because in the midst of that pain and suffering, you would be becoming rich. And that's what James is telling us here. He's not denying the suffering and the hurt and the pain, but what he's saying is considering what it's producing. It's producing endurance. When we go through trials and testing, God is strengthening our faith. And as our faith is strengthened, we are able to face more and more difficult circumstances, which makes us a stronger, better person and Christian. That's why we're joyful. Not because we hurt, but we're joyful because God is strengthening our faith. In these difficult times, and especially with the passing of Phil, I encourage you to go to the Lord to find that joy. Jesus promises that He will give us joy, not as the world gives, joy that is based on circumstances, but joy that's deep-seated and comes from our Father who gives us every good gift. This is the joy I challenge you to pray for, to receive from our Lord, so that we can have joy in these difficult times.